Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me? Let's see, Joan, I see you. Can you hear me? Just doing a sound check here. Do you hear me, Joan? Or there's an E. Olson.
Elaine.
Oh, you can hear me?
I can hear you. Elaine, it's the wrong name that's on there, but
okay.
I'm Elaine Ryan.
Okay, if you could turn on your video camera, that would be great so I could see you.
Oh, I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do that.
Oh, there's a little icon at the bottom, and all you got to do is click it. It has a video camera.
Start video, participants chat.
Yeah.
Share screen. Record.
You don't want to share screen. All you want to do is, I think you muted yourself. So you click the microphone button. That will be to unmute. And there's an E. Olson.
That's me, and it's the wrong name.
Oh, okay, but there's a Joan up there too.
That I don't know about. I can't find.
Oh, that's all right. So I want to welcome.
Share, it says share screen.
No, you don't want to share the screen. I'll be able to look at your computer.
Participants.
No, I think it's okay the way it is. If you see a little video camera down below, it's either stop video, like for example, I'm hitting stop video. You can hit start video. There you are. There's Elaine.
Now I've got to clear the screen.
You got to adjust the camera so I can
see
you. I just see the top of your head.
I've got a page in front of in front.
All right.
I have to get rid of that. There we go.
Okay, so we got Elaine, we got Joan, and we got Joseph, and there'll probably be more people joining, but I want to welcome you to the meeting. This is an opportunity to talk to me, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have regarding your eyes and your vision. I'm here to help you. So if you do have a question, oh, there's Joseph. Hi, how are you?
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Thank you for joining the meeting. And there's a Joan. I don't see you, Joan. You just click your video camera, but it's not necessary. I always think it's a little bit more personable if I can see you, and then we can, talk. And Teresa's joining.
No, Brendan! Hey, take it away. Guys, take it away.
Okay, but try to keep the background noise. Otherwise, I'm going to have to mute you. Or I'll have to turn off all of your audio. So try to keep the background noise. It's disrespectful for everybody else. I had one person join the meeting and they were cleaning dishes and somebody else was cutting grass. So it's disrespectful. We're here to have a meeting, and I'm here to answer your questions, and I hope we can get to know each other and see what's going on. So I'll open it up for questions.
Sir, Dr. Kondrot, may I ask a few here?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay. So I had a chance to speak with Chris on Friday morning, and she indicated there's some vitamins that a person should not take. Well, actually, I do have one maybe question first or preamble here. So my condition is something called myopic maculopathy, where the back of the eye is getting far extended, and my left eye is pretty much shot for seeing anything of any distance. I can't see a street sign. I can't see street lights, anything basically in my left eye. Will your program actually reverse that, or just sort of hold it at bay so it does not get worse?
Well, we always like to think, well, let me just tell people listening what the myopic degeneration is. It's actually a type of macular degeneration. But in your case, because the eye becomes elongated, the retina kind of stretches. And the stretching maybe causes leakage of blood vessels or damage. And that usually is what causes the visual loss, the myopic degeneration. So I tend to focus on, primarily I like to focus on the underlying causes. A lot of times people will think I have this genetic predisposition. Maybe you have a family history of high myopia and you feel like you're condemned to have this problem in your life. And I feel that there's ways of stopping that progress. And it begins by looking at your diet, nutrition, good nutrition, your overall health, proper hydration, reducing stress, eliminating heavy metals. Heavy metal toxicity is a big problem now with just about everybody I see. And the heavy metals can cause a progression and adversely affect any eye condition that you have. So we look at all those things. Then I do things like microcurrent, light therapy, homeopathy, which I feel can treat dysfunctional cells. In your condition, you have a lot of your retinal cells are dysfunctional. They're not dead yet. I mean, if you have scar tissue, it's almost impossible to revitalize the retina if you have scar tissue. But on the other hand, probably the majority of your retina is dysfunctional. So we can do things to revitalize your vision. So I have had good success using therapies like microcurrent, homeopathy, light therapy to help the dysfunctional retinal tissue. We like to think that we're able to reverse it, but I believe that it's not really reversal. We're just revitalizing a lot of the dead cells and dead retinal tissue that's in your eye.
So basically what I'm hoping for right now, then I guess, is that if I understand correctly, I should not necessarily hold hope for a reversal, but at least at a minimum, a person should be able to keep it at bay from getting any worse.
Well, I never like to take hope away. About 25 years ago, I had severe adult onset asthma, and I went to all the specialists. And they told me it's impossible to reverse it. You're going to have it all your life. Take your 3 medications. And I wasn't happy because the medications had side effects. One of them was a bad tremor. And even though I was taking the medication, I almost died twice from an asthma attack. But one homeopathic remedy cured me of my asthma. Now you have to ask yourself, did it reverse the asthma? Did it get rid of the problem with my lungs? I no longer have asthma. So I think that my lungs have been restored, with alternative treatments. And that's kind of what led me to begin this quest of looking for therapies. We're discovering now that certain microcurrent frequencies can stimulate your own stem cells. And you know that stem cells are responsible for regeneration. For example, if I cut my finger, the body should restore it back to normal. And it does that because of our stem cells and our ability to regenerate. So theoretically, we should be able to regenerate your retina. Theoretically. Now, I don't have all the answers, but I do believe that that's possible.
But if the back of the eye is getting sort of longer in the backside, doesn't the back of the eye need to almost be pushed back in again to get that proper focus?
Well, you're looking at a structural change. You
Yeah,
know, change the structure. But then again, you have to ask yourself, and this is what my interest is in, why is the eye growing? Why is the eye becoming elongated?
Right, and that's exactly the case.
Yeah, there has to be some type of process going on in your body. You know, why do people get myopia? You know, that's been studied. You know, one theory is that there's too much sugar. Sugar is related to the progression of myopia. And our sugar consumption has dramatically increased over the last 20 or 30 years. You know, and sugar is a poison. I'm not saying that that's related to your myopia. The other factor is prolonged use of your eyes for close vision. You know, not relaxing your eyes. All these things could be a possibility. So we have to look at, why are you having this progression? That's one factor we have to look at. And then we have to look at, what can we do? Well, we're trying to look at stopping the underlying progression, whatever reason it is. If we can identify that, then we're also looking for ways that we can regenerate your eye. And I do believe that, you know, microcurrent light therapy and homeopathy are mechanisms to help the body regenerate. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to return your eyes to the way they were when you were 20, but I think we can help slow that process. And my goal has always been to help people get an improvement of vision. Now, let me ask you this question. You have a certain level of vision in that left eye, right?
Yeah, I do.
You're able to see like the big E on the eye chart, or the second line down, or what can you see?
Nothing. No, just a big blur with my left eye. My right eye is pretty good. It's perhaps
Well, with the
20/20.
left eye, can you identify letters?
With my glasses on, the answer is no.
Okay. So what if we would be able to get some return of vision in that left eye? Like, for example, better peripheral vision, maybe to see shadows better, to see the big E, you know, to help you with your overall function.
Well, I can see the big E, like peripheral, you know, it's not that it's blind spots. It's more so just, you know, clarity. Like the big E, I love to see the big E again with my glasses on in my left eye. But at this point, it seems to be a far hope.
Mm-hmm. Well, have I reviewed your records?
Well, I just sent him in actually on Thursday night. This all sort of came down the last week or two here. I'm getting from my optometrist the visual images of my eye. I checked my email on Friday afternoon. I've not received them yet, but I do have to send them to you. So there's a printout I gave to Chris for just sort of the narrative part, like just the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
But I really want to get to you before you review everything, the images, so you have a better sense of things.
Yeah, it's important that I review, and this is for all of you that are on the call. You know, I'm happy to answer your questions, but I'll get a better handle on things when I actually look at your records, not just pictures. I need to know the doctor's evaluation, your vision, your intraocular pressure, how your pupils react, you know, just the complete doctor's examination. So it's almost like me examining your eyes.
So once, again, I have given what I've got so far to Chris. There's a bit more to come, which is the images. But once you look at the records, if there's things missing, will you let us know what you still need?
Yeah, sometimes I'll want copies of visual field. Sometimes I'll want something called ocular coherence tomography. This is a specialized test of the retina.
But you'll let us know, though.
Oh, yeah. Typically what the process is, Chris will send me the records. I'll take time and review them, look at them, and then I'll make a summary for Chris. And then I'll give her my suggestions to Chris. And then sometimes I will need other tests. And I'll mention that to Chris and she'll get back to you.
Okay. So yes, okay. My wife's with me as well too here. So if you hear a voice in the background, that's my wife, Diane.
Hi, Diane.
Okay.
Where are you located, Joseph?
Well, we actually live in Canada, but we're actually right down in Florida right now for some medical treatment as well too.
Mhm.
Which is why
But we live in Canada.
we live in
Yeah.
Canada normally, yes. The other thing we saw on your website is that there's certain vitamins that a person can take that can cause damage to your eyes. But we really couldn't seem to find a list of what that would be. Are there 3 or 4 key things that a person should not take?
Well, I think that you have to be really careful with vitamins and nutritional supplements because there's a lot of contaminations in a lot of the products. And I'm a firm believer that if God wanted us to take vitamins, he would grow them on trees. So I'm a big advocate of good, healthy nutrition. Somebody's talking in the background, please. Yeah, I just muted that person. We don't want any noise in the background. Anyway, I'm a big advocate of good, healthy nutrition. We are what we eat. Colorful foods will give us colorful vision. Now, there is a product that I came across that I love it. It's actually a medical food. You need it by a prescription. It's called Ocufolin. And I don't know if any of you participated in my vision event.
Have not so far.
Yeah, it's every year I do an event. It's called the Vision Event. And I invite maybe 8 or 9 top alternative doctors that I feel can help you with your vision. And this year I had such a great lineup of speakers. And you can go to Vision Event 2023 and get a list of the speakers. There is a fee to join the Vision Event, but you're going to get over $130 worth of bonuses in the Vision Event, including a discount on the Ocufolin that I mentioned. So all of the speakers are offering a bonus, either a book, a report. So definitely, if you haven't tuned into the Vision Event, do it. It's a very good investment. There's so much good material in the Vision Event. Now, if you can't afford the fee of the Vision Event, which I think is reasonable, I think it's $89.95 for the event. You can listen to the Vision Event 2022, which is available free. You can ask Chris for that information. We have some great speakers there. Okay. Oh, what part of Florida are you?
Area called the Villages. We're just
Oh my goodness.
We're just
That is it's a swinging place in Florida.
Well, we're pretty low height. We're actually here really for my wife's got some health issues, and unfortunately we're seeing doing cancer work right now. We could find a place to stay around Mount Dora, so this is the closest place that we could find to where our doctor is, and we drive an hour every day to get there. So
the Villages are a wild place.
They seem to be pretty active out here.
Very active.
Yeah.
In fact, I read an article that it has the highest percentage of sexually transmitted diseases in the Villages.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
So be careful.
yeah.
We're pretty safe.
It's not going to help your myopic degeneration.
No. I love my wife, and she loves me, and we're together. So.
Okay, good. Okay, anybody else have questions? Okay, Elaine, hello.
I thank you for looking at my report. I take it you did get a chance to look at it?
Did Chris contact you with the report?
I had it sent in a couple weeks ago.
I should have looked at it. She hasn't gotten back to you?
It said that you were reading the report, the last email that I received, looking at it.
Yeah,
So I
because
wasn't sure.
usually what I do is I try to review the reports within 24 hours. Chris will send them to me. I'll review them and then I'll get back to her. And then typically she'll get back to you within 24 hours. So it should only be like a 2 or 3 day turnover. I'm gonna have to make a note. You're Elaine Olson?
Elaine, no, that's the wrong name, but it's Elaine Ryan,
How do you spell your last name?
R-H-Y-N-E.
I do not recognize that name.
How
Miss Ryan,
about,
can you check
how
Ryan?
about P like in Peter, A-J-A-K?
Say
Ryan
that,
is my, pardon me, P
Ryan.
like, that's with my email address, the name Ryan. It was from a previous marriage.
Well, no, I would, the email would be your first name and last name. I would get the email. That's R-H-Y-N-E.
Correct.
In
Yeah.
fact, I'm gonna search in my emails right now. R-H,
Y-N-E, like the Rhine River with a Y.
yeah, and there's nothing in my box.
Okay, so
Something,
try P
something
like
must
in,
have, something must have gotten lost.
oh, P like in Peter, A-J-A-K. That's my last name.
Yeah, okay, it could be under that name?
Yes, depending on which way she took the name.
All right, let me check under those, see if we get something. P,
P like in Peter, A-J-A-K.
A-J-A-K. Nothing.
Well, because
I'm searching.
it's probably under Ryan, right?
Okay, well, you have to give Chris a call on Monday. I'm gonna make a note. I talk to Chris every day. And
Yeah.
usually, I mean, she does a very good job. And like I said, I review the records every day. You know, usually within 24 hours, I'll review them and she'll get back to you within 24 hours. So when I hear it's been a week.
And
either-
I've been kind of interested in hearing because my doctor does not tell me everything that's going on. He just tells me what he's going to do. And it's kind of
And
hard.
what is he gonna do?
He says if my eyes get worse, he's going to start the shot. He wants to start the injections again. And I can't handle them because I have very serious side effects. From the first injection, it was just slight. The second injection, it was worse. And the third injection, it took me weeks to get over it.
Well, for those of you that are on this call that don't know what these injections are, it's a treatment now that people are doing for wet macular. I do not like them. They may help within the first 3 to 6 months, but long term, most of the injections cause further damage to the eye. I usually like to begin alternative treatments. Like I said, treat the underlying cause. And usually what I advise patients, embrace the alternative treatments. You know, do the microcurrent, light therapy, take the vitamins, nutrition. If your vision is stable or getting better, certainly you don't need the injections. But if you're doing all the alternative treatments faithfully and vision is still declining, then get the injections. And I have found that probably 10 to 15% of patients that are under my care will need the injections. Because remember, I wear 2 hats. I'm a board certified ophthalmologist. I know all about injections. I've done them. I've done surgery. You name the operation, I've done it. But on the other hand, I like the alternative approach because I feel that it makes more sense. It makes more sense. And a lot of these treatments that the doctor's doing, I really believe causing more harm to your eyes.
What are these injections? Are these the VEGF injections, or what exactly
Yeah,
are
they're
they?
the VEGF. There's Avastin, there's Lucentis, there's Eylea, there's all sorts of injections.
Yeah, Lucentis is the one I had.
Yeah.
And I can't go back to it. I will not go back to them. So this is why I'm here.
Mhm. Oh, somebody typed in the question. I recently was taking some homeopathic medicines as I was losing weight and had low energy, but it caused me to lose more weight and had even more low energy. So I stopped taking them. Well, the problem with homeopathy, I would say 3/4 of the doctors practicing homeopathy are not homeopathic doctors. There's a lot of people that take a weekend course and they prescribe homeopathic remedies and they do not know what they're doing.
Yeah, nice one.
Let me see. I'm muting. I don't know where that noise is coming from, but okay. So anyway, a lot of homeopathic doctors will prescribe multiple homeopathic remedies, mixtures, if you will, and they can cause more damage. Certainly, a homeopathic remedy should not cause an adverse effect if you're taking the right one. And homeopathy is just one part of the treatments that I do. I like homeopathy because homeopathy treats the whole person, treats the underlying cause. I also like the microcurrent. It's a low-level electrical current that helps restore your eyesight. And right now I'm doing research. I'm coming out with my, has to be my 8th or 9th book. It's called Homeopathic Ophthalmology. And I'm researching all the ophthalmologists that practice homeopathy in the 1800s. And I came across an article that was written in 1891. And doctors were using low-level electrical current to reverse eye problems back then. And I thought that I was maybe the first one to do that. But, you know, really, there's nothing new under the sun. And there was case after case. Okay, Elaine, did you have your hands up?
Yes, I'm sensitive to electromagnetic fields. Is that going to be a problem using that?
Well, microcurrent is not an electromagnetic field. It's a low frequency. It's a direct current. It's not a field. So it should not be a problem.
And also, do you give prescriptions for the tests that you require?
Yep, we will. I have a medical license in 4 states, and usually my license or my prescription is good in any state in the country.
Very good.
Did your hand go up?
Yes, sir. I was going to say that, can you give it, just so I help me understand homeopathy, can you give me an example of what type of, what's an example of homeopathy for the eyes?
I could probably talk for 3 hours. In fact, I'm scheduled to give a talk to an international talk to doctors in May on homeopathy. I gave a talk on homeopathy to the Christian Ophthalmology Society. This is a group of eye surgeons, Christian eye surgeons. And if you go to YouTube, you can listen to my talk. And I was scared to death because here I am, I'm talking to eye surgeons. These are guys that do injections. They don't believe in this nonsense. And at the end of my talk, I had so many doctors come up to me and say, Dr. Kondrot, that was probably the best talk I've heard in a long time. So you can listen to that. It's on YouTube. Search my name. It's a talk I gave to the Christian Ophthalmology Society. But in a nutshell, homeopathy is a distinct way of looking at disease. Typically, the modern doctor treats with opposites. Let's say you have a wet macula. They give you an injection to dry it up. If you have high blood pressure, they give you a medicine to lower your blood pressure, correct?
Correct.
If you have diarrhea, they give you medicine to make constipation. If you have a fever, they give you a medicine that lowers your fever. They treat with opposites. Now, the homeopathic doctor believes, and this is where it may get a little hard to believe,
Yeah, I know this part is hard.
that if our body has a wisdom, and we are made in the likeness of God. Our body has an intelligence. When we get a disease, it's because we need it. Why do we need it? We need it to maintain homeostasis, balance in our body. Now, diarrhea. There's a reason why we get diarrhea. Maybe we ate some toxic food, maybe we have an infection. Well, why do we get a fever? Maybe our body needs to raise its temperature to fight a disease. It gets a little bit more complicated when you say, why did I get wet macular? My body has a wisdom. Or why is my eyeball getting elongated? Doesn't make sense. A lot of things we don't understand. But homeopathy believes that the body has a wisdom, and we actually treat that disease or problem with a substance that can cause it. For example, when I was cured of my asthma, the doctor gave me something which causes asthma. Now, that may seem kind of far-fetched. If you have diarrhea, the homeopathic doctor may give you something which actually causes diarrhea. So the homeopathic doctor believes if your body has a wisdom and it's having these symptoms, let's help it. And once we start to help it, the body no longer has to do it. It's very strange, but people have been practicing it for 250 years. It cured me of my asthma. I have seen blind people regain their vision with homeopathy. There's case after case. Homeopathy can work miracles. Yes, Ellen.
Elaine, I just had to add to that because I've been with a homeopathic doctor for 60 years, and he's pulled me through 3 COVID cases and almost every other thing that I've had, and I took very little other antibiotics and things. So I'm doing well at my age. I do everything and I feel good, and he still takes good care of me.
Yeah, I mean, homeopathy is wonderful. That's why the King of England and Queen Elizabeth, they all practice homeopathy. They only use homeopathy. It's very safe, and it should not cause any side effects. If you're getting a side effect from homeopathy, something is wrong. You either have the wrong remedy, the wrong potency. You should not have a reaction with the homeopathic remedy if it's done correctly. If it's done correctly. The only problem with homeopathy is it's not easy. So people ask me, well, what's the homeopathic remedy I should take for wet macular? Well, we treat the person. So I could see 100 people with wet macular, and each one would need a different homeopathic remedy. When I was cured of my asthma, I know it wasn't a placebo effect, because the first time I went to the homeopathic doctor, in my mind, I said, this has to help me, because I was desperate. But the first remedy I took didn't do a thing. I went back. The second remedy may have helped a little bit, but it wasn't anything that I was really excited about. But the third remedy I took, it was like somebody flicked the light switch. I couldn't believe it. You know, the asthma went away and my mental emotional state changed. It was like phenomenal. And that's when I said, boy, why didn't they teach me this in medical school? So I spent 4 years getting my homeopathic degree. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Yes.
So Dr. Kondrot, I currently take a fair bit of NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatories. To basically, it's sort of a repurposed medication for my own cancer issue as well too. But then I start reading. I'm scrambling, looking for answers to why my eye is doing what it's doing and how can I stop it. And as you sort of pound the internet looking for answers, you start saying, well, things that there are examples or cases where NSAIDs can, cause myopic maculopathy. So I guess my question here is, what is your experience with NSAIDs and maculopathy? Is this just a real thing that a guy like myself should be cutting back on? Or
anytime you take a pharmaceutical product, it's going to have side effects. There's no such thing as a safe pharmaceutical product. it's going to have side effects. And so many of these side effects are hidden by big pharma. There was a researcher from Belgium, a brilliant statistician and also a psychiatrist. And he made the statement that 85% of medical publications are false. They can't be duplicated. 85%. There are studies coming out. Look what has happened with the COVID studies, all the research that was supposed to be the vaccine would prevent you from getting, it's these studies, and I'm really concerned. I really think that you have to try to avoid any type of pharmaceutical product. But then again, you have to be practical. What benefits are you having from this pharmaceutical product, the NSAIDs?
Right.
And are they really necessary? Can we treat it in a more natural way?
We're trying. So far, I've avoided chemotherapy. So,
But then again, I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert on, cancer, and I don't want to give you any advice or misinform you. My expertise is the eye.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of really good doctors out there who are doing remarkable work treating cancer.
I hear you. So bottom line, and I totally hear you when you say that, yeah, any medication is going to have side effects, but you have, do you have anything specific with, excuse me, do you have anything specific though with NSAIDs and maculopathy? Like, have you experience where you've had a patient take an NSAID and it triggered a problem for them? Or
not really. Okay. But it is a possibility. Oh, there's a question here. How long did I have to take my homeopathic remedy before it cured me of my asthma? It was cured in a week. Yes.
So I am excited to get going on with your program here. And I did speak with Chris on Friday, and she sent off to me the patient registration form and the purchase agreement and so forth. Is this stuff sort of normally sort of sent in after you've done the record review, or is this sent in before you do the record review?
Usually I'll do a record review first and tell the person if they're a good candidate or not. But then again, people are in different stages. Some patients are desperate. They want to sign up for the program. There are occasions whenever somebody signs up for the program and I tell them they're not a good candidate, and then we refund their money. There are some people that are just not good candidates, or I don't want to give them unreasonable expectations.
Right.
So but see, that's a really hard judgment for me, because one of my happiest patients, this was a guy that had advanced retinitis pigmentosa, and he could only see light in front of his eyes. That's all, just bare light. And then after he did the program for a couple of months, he was able to see shadows. Now, most people would say that's not much improvement, but he was the happiest person, because now that he could see shadows, it changed his life. When he walked into a room, he could be oriented. He would know where the sofa was, the table, and that changed his life. Before, he had no orientation. So it all depends on the person. It all depends on what your goals are. There's so many factors that sometimes it's really hard to make an evaluation if you're a good candidate.
Right. But so like in my case, we have zero problem with the purchase agreement and all that good stuff. But what I'll do is, as soon as the moment I get my images, I'll have them off to Chris, and you give me the recommendations. And I pray to God that I'm a good candidate, hopefully. And if you make specific recommendations, I will do them to the T, because I really need my eyesight, and I'm excited to hopefully have you help me. Okay, great. Well, thanks for your interest. Yes, Elaine?
My left eye, I don't know what it's called because it's a complicated name, has a tissue behind it that is wrinkling. And I had 20/20 vision before I had this macular problem, which was 4 months ago when I started the injections. But I had I don't know what it's called, that's the way it was explained to me, a wrinkling behind the eye. And now I have to have reading glasses for that eye. And it has dry macular, and my right eye has wet macular.
Well, you're talking about an epiretinal membrane or a retinal wrinkle. And this occurs on a certain layer of the retina where it's like cellophane that gets wrinkled, and that can affect your vision.
That's the way it was explained to me. I don't
Yeah,
remember.
so we would want to do things to actually try to reduce that wrinkling. And usually one of the biggest factors for the wrinkling is inflammation. So you want to reduce the inflammation either by looking at the food in your diet, looking at other things like heavy metal toxicity. All these factors can affect.
I realized recently that my ankles have a little swelling in there, and it must be all over my body also. So it's probably with the eyes too.
Yeah, that's why I like homeopathy, because homeopathy looks at all the symptoms in your body and tries to tie them into your eye. We have somebody else that raised your hand, Jennifer. Could you unmute yourself? Hi, Jennifer. I can't see you.
Oh, yeah, I have a question regarding, I recently was diagnosed with a macular edema in the left eye. Can that be treated with just ozone drops?
No. First of all, I need to know what is the cause of the macular edema. There are probably 100 different reasons why you could get macular edema. We need to know the cause. The other thing is,
I had a retina detachment a couple of years ago, and I was told that when they laser the retina, the laser can cause inflammation. So is that related, or can that cause macular edema?
well, the laser, the fact that you had retinal detachment surgery, that could cause edema. So the edema is probably due to inflammation in the eye. The eye hasn't healed. So we need to do things to try to accelerate your body's healing. Usually after the retinal detachment surgery, the surgeon will tell you it's going to take 3 to 6 months before your vision to return to normal. It takes time for the eye to heal. But what the retinal surgeons don't do is they don't tell you to do things to help the eye heal. And that's my interest. What can we do to help your eye to heal?
Would that be the homeopathic remedy?
Well, the homeopathic remedy may be part of it. We may have to do the low-level electrical current. We have to do light therapy. We may have to look at nutrition. I think a good place to start, I wrote a book called The 10 Essentials to Save Your Sight. It's a free download. Go to my website. You can download the book. The first 3 chapters are essential. The first chapter deals with good nutrition, why good nutrition is essential for your eyesight. Second chapter deals with proper hydration. You know, I think one of the biggest causes of a lot of chronic diseases is poor hydration. We just got to drink more water to get rid of the toxins. And in fact, that could be a cause of the retinal wrinkling. Hey, if you're dry, you know, what happens to a plum when it gets dry? It turns into a prune. So if you're not properly hydrated, things are going to wrinkle. And the other thing is reducing stress. I'm a big advocate of reducing stress.
Can't do that. Too much.
And I also hear that your thyroid can also affect your vision, because thyroid controls metabolism, and if you have poor metabolism, then that affects your eye cells.
Yeah, well, any organ can affect your vision. The Chinese tied the liver into the eye. You know, healthy liver gave you a healthy vision. They said that the eye is the flower of the liver. Now, the liver in Chinese medicine is the organ for the emotion of anger and frustration. And so a lot of us now in our modern society have frustration and we have anger, and that's tied into the eye. But the kidneys can tie into the eye. I mean, any organ, you know, so it's not just the thyroid, it's any organ.
Thank you. And then,
So-
can we improve the health of all these organs with homeopathic?
Yeah, well,
medicine?
generally speaking, homeopathy will treat the whole body. It'll help the health of all parts of your body. But I'm not saying that homeopathy should be your only treatment. It's something I really like, and I use it in conjunction with the microcurrent, the light therapy. Now, Jennifer, I would recommend that you begin taking the ocufolin. The ocufolin is a medical food. It goes beyond a vitamin. And I've had a lot of patients respond very well to the ocufolin. That's the nutritional supplement that I'm using now with all my patients.
Thank you, doctor.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. We see Grandma and Grandpa joined,
Right. This
but
is
there's
Brad.
only one of you, huh?
That's right. So I just have a number of questions, and just at the outset, I'm attempting to reorganize my finances so I can get going on this, and within a short time here, and I'm already starting. You recommended Ocumed, and then I looked at the Oclumed, and so I have a cataract that doesn't really bother me too much in my left eye. So I'm just interested in results from those two supplements. You recommended actually not Ocumed, but Ocufolin for me. I do have an underlying heart issue. And so can I take those two together, and what kind of statistical results are generally come from those two things?
So
That's
you're
what-
taking Oclumed and Ocufolin.
No, I'm taking, I misspoke. I'm taking, you prescribed Ocufolin, and I haven't got it yet, but I'm going to. And Oclumed, I just got. Would there be any contraindication between taking those two together? And then what kind of results? I think from what Chris said, I think I have the Ocufolin. But conjoined with my diet, which is related, I'm doing a whole food plant-based diet. It's a Brooke Goldner protocol, and kind of doing that on my own, but I'm just, that's what I'm doing. Is there anything that I'm doing that could possibly lead to bad results?
So your main problem is the cataract?
No, I have cataracts on top of, the underlying condition is glaucoma. Okay.
Okay, so your main issue is glaucoma.
That's correct. And I had a cataracts operation
It may be that.
3 years ago, and the end result was that it has happened. It kind of left me dysfunctional in that eye. Okay, I can see, but I see things, but they're blurry, and the sight has gone blotchy and stuff like that. The other eye is last tested at like 2020, even 2015. I'm concerned to get on the right track so I preserve my left eye vision.
Well, glaucoma can be a very serious disease, and it's one of the few eye conditions that actually can lead to total blindness. By that, I mean midnight in a coal mine blind.
Mhm.
I mean, macular degeneration never leads to blindness. You can lose your central vision. Cataracts never lead to blindness. But glaucoma is something we've really got to treat carefully. There's two sides of the equation with glaucoma. One is the pressure side. The other side is the health of the optic nerve. So the first goal is to make sure your pressure is adequate. Unfortunately, I've seen patients with pressures of 25, which is considered elevated, never lose vision with glaucoma. And I've seen patients with pressures of 5 go blind. So I think the issue is more than pressure, it's the health of the optic nerve. Anything you can do to help the health of the optic nerve. Now, what can you do? Exercise, meditation, proper hydration. Anything you can do to stimulate your cardiovascular system is going to help that optic nerve. Now, a big problem is heavy metal toxicity. I would really encourage you to get tested for heavy metals, because if your lead is elevated in mercury, you should get chelation. Chelation does two things. It'll remove the heavy metals and at the same time improve the circulation. And it really irritates me. There's so many doctors that downgrade chelation. There was an article published. It was the lead article in the Journal of the American Medical Association. It was a 10-year study, I think a $50 million study that showed that patients who underwent chelation therapy had a 28% reduction in the major cardiac event. That statistic is amazing. If a drug could do that, it'd be the lead selling drug. Anyway, this article came out. Now, my son's father-in-law is an interventional cardiologist, and I'm having Thanksgiving dinner with him. And I said, Nikolai, did you read the article? He never heard of it. I said, what do you think of chelation? He said, oh, they disproved that years ago. I mean, these studies are coming out that show the benefit of a lot of these things, and the medical doctors just ignore it. And I have elevated lead, and I'm doing chelation. I'm doing a rectal suppository and taking oral because I want to get rid of that lead. There's a strong history of heart disease in my family, and I want to keep those arteries open. And in your case, you got to keep the circulation open to that optic nerve. And microcurrent has been shown to improve circulation, reduce inflammation. I love microcurrent for glaucoma. And ozone therapy. You might want to tune into the vision event. We had a lot of great speakers. In fact, we had one of the world's authority on ozone, Dr. Frank Schellenberger, give a talk, which I think will be really eye-opening to you. So there's a lot of things we can do. Where the traditional ophthalmologist misses that, he does nothing to advise you on what to do for the health of the optic nerve. All they want to do is lower your pressure. Take these drops, we'll do surgery, but they're missing the big part of the picture. I have a video that I put together called The Big Lie About Glaucoma. You can search that on YouTube.
Okay. I do have one more question. Sure. Am I still on?
Yep, you're still on. Somebody's talking in the background.
Okay. Yeah, the question is this. So I don't use my glasses because of a lot in the house, because the one eye is so good and it's just, I can navigate, do things, et cetera, et cetera. I've noticed recently that for some unknown reason, my eyes have adjusted in the last 6 months, so that with my long distance, my far distance correction, I can now read the computer screen. And I'm just saying, is this worse or better? I don't know what's going on.
Well, whenever you do develop a cataract, you do get refractive changes. Some people call it second sight.
Ah.
Now, one thing about cataracts, everybody over the age of 50 has cataracts. I'm 72. I have cataracts. And anytime I go to the eye doctor, they're itching to remove those cataracts. But I'm not having any trouble. Doc, why do I need it done? But a lot of patients, they go, oh, I got these cataracts, Medicare will pay for it, let me get it removed.
Okay.
And you get into trouble.
Got it. Thank you for that. Thank you. And I look forward to working with you. And that will be coming up very shortly. I'm trying to get going on this in the next month or so. So I'll talk to Chris again. And
okay, great. Thanks for joining the meeting. And I look forward to working with you too. Okay, Elaine, you have a lot of questions, Elaine.
Just a quick questions. I'm a very active person, and my macular can be bleeding. And if I am exuberant with exercise, could that affect it badly if it's wet macular and you're
Oh my
exercising?
goodness, that's just the opposite. The reason why you get wet macular is because you have a decrease in circulation. Activity will not make the wet macular worse. Exercise is good.
So it won't cause it to bleed more.
It should not.
Okay.
There's a question here about, is there a good eye drop for dry eyes? I love ozone eye drops. And I think this person wrote, I'm sensitive to ozone. That's impossible. It's like saying you're sensitive to oxygen. I think you probably have taken the ozone in the wrong way. I have a YouTube video on how to make your own ozone eye drops. I love them. And it should not cause, you should not have an allergy to ozone. Now, ozone's gotten a bad rap because it is measured as a pollutant in the atmosphere. And ozone can be toxic to the lungs if you breathe it. But doctors are injecting ozone IV into bodies. And it's rectal insufflation. Ozone is amazing to help improve the oxygenation of your body, help regeneration. It has hundreds of positive effects in your body. And if you're interested, I have a couple of YouTube's videos on ozone, and Dr. Frank Schallenberger, who's like the godfather of ozone in the US. He was one of the keynote speakers for my Vision event. You can go to Vision Event 2023, and I would highly encourage you to sign up. There is a fee for $89.95, but you get $130 worth of bonuses. And the bonuses are very, very valuable. There's a couple of books that you get, audios, and it's just a lot of good stuff. Yes, Joseph's wife. I'm sorry, your name is Deborah?
Diane.
Oh, Diane.
Yeah, sorry. So just a question. Resolve the why, the underlying why that you were talking about. And just real quick, for example, Joe is nearsighted and he is nearsighted, like computer.
Oh, you're coming in and out. I'm hearing every other word.
Sorry, is this a little better?
Oh, much better.
Okay. For Joseph did do near work computer and desk for years, like 40 years. And so that could be a contributor. I mean, for example, we eat organic, we've done chelation treatments, we don't eat, we're very low sugar household, if at all. So we're trying to do all those things. But as a question, if you can resolve the underlying why, if he can slack off of some of the close work, for example, can that stop anything from progressing, or your treatment stop it from progressing to his right eye as well, the maculopathy?
Yeah, well, I think if we've identified the underlying cause, that should help stop the progression. But sometimes more intervention is needed to stop the progression, like a good homeopathic remedy, microcurrent light therapy.
Right.
So not only do I look for the underlying cause,
right,
we're also looking at things we can do right now to reverse the pathology.
For sure. Okay, fair enough. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Elaine, yes.
What form does I signed up for this vision program, and what form does it come to your home, or how do you receive all this information on all these speakers?
You'll get a link to watch them at your convenience. So they're an encrypted YouTube link, and you can watch the videos at your convenience anytime.
Thank you.
Okay, we're coming to the end of the hour. So if there's any other questions, yeah, Joseph.
Sure. So how do you know if you've got wet macular versus dry macular? Like, And which is worse, maybe, like, I'm not sure, is wet's worse than a dry or vice versa? So A, how do you know what you have? And B, which is the one that's worse than the other?
Well, the only way to really make the diagnosis is your ophthalmologist will do some specialized testing. The one test is called coherence ocular tomography, OCT. And what they do is they look at a cross section of your retina and they can tell whether it's wet or dry. I reviewed the data. I published an article of 295 eyes that I treated, and believe it or not, I was kind of surprised. I got better results with the wet macula than I did the dry. In some cases, the dry can be more severe. So I can't really say what is worse, the wet or the dry. Some dry cases can be extremely progressive and you can lose a lot of vision quickly. On the other hand, wet macular can be very mild and you lose minimal vision over time. Okay, well, I want to thank all of you for, I did record this, so I'll send all of you a link. And I appreciate you taking time to join me. I'm here to help you. You can contact the office. If I haven't had a chance to review your records, send them to me and I'll get back to you. Also, if you haven't signed up for the vision event, I think it's a good bargain, a lot of good speakers, a lot of good material to help you on your quest to restore lost vision and keep your eyes healthy.
Do you do these talks like every second week or once a month, or how frequent do you have these discussions?
I usually meet with prospective patients like you once a month.
Okay.
So, and then when you do join the program, I meet with all my patients twice a month.
Wow. Okay. That's really good. Good to hear.
So this is just kind of an intro to answer your questions. And okay, well, thanks everybody.
Very well. Thanks. Been great. Thanks, Sue.
Bye.